We are on page 88 of, let me shut my car off, book 2 of the Dresden Files, from Jim Butcher, Full Moon. It's good. I'm liking it. I'm enjoying my time. This is definitely, these books are, from what I understand, they're not to be taken seriously. It's just good, clean fun, noir, wizard style kind of story, you know, kind of harkens back to the, you know, the days of noir where, you know, he had a lit cigarette in his mouth. She had big old boobies. You know, I mean, it's just silly stuff. I hear people complaining about the misogyny and all that stuff. I mean, Harry Dresden does not hate women. In fact, I have a quote from Harry Dresden himself. He says, I have what might be considered a very out-of-date and chauvinist attitude about women. Chauvinist? Yes, I could probably see some chauvinistness in his attitude. However, but he says, he says, quote, and I like to treat women like ladies. I like to open doors for them, pay for the meal when I'm on a date, bring flowers, draw out their seat for them, all that sort of thing. I guess I could call it an attitude of chivalry if I thought more of myself. Whatever you call it, Murphy was a lady in distress, and since I had put her there, it only seemed right that I should get her out of trouble too. So, there are some scenes in you know, probably future scenes that's gonna be like sexual and all that stuff. First book had some kind of like, you know, moments. But you know what? Who cares? It's a book. It's a book. And look, and while we're on the topic, if we're gonna get all misogyny, how about this? For trigger warnings, anytime you see a man being treated like crap in your books, which is a lot of men being treated like crap in many books, won't you go ahead and flag that trigger warning as misandry, and then we'll call it even. If you're not going to do that, then you can shove that double standard right on. Anywho, that bothers me. I hate when people get all crazy about stuff. It's just a book, people. I'm having fun, though. I like this book a lot. Let's continue on and give Mr. Jim Butcher his due diligence. We are 56% finished with Jim Butcher's Full Moon, Book 2 of the Dresden Files. We made it to the halfway point yesterday. It's been a couple days. I've not really had a whole lot of time to read, but from the time that I have had, I've been enjoying myself. It's been nice. It's been good. Let's kind of go over midway through what's going on. At the very beginning, we meet him, which is like an apprentice for Harry, and she's asking him, this is like page 1. She's asking him for help about werewolves and stuff, and he's like, don't go there. It's super dangerous. I don't know a lot about it, and you shouldn't go playing with stuff like that. And so she kind of begs him a little bit, and he helps her a little bit, but not like all the way. And, you know, she gets upset. And so we don't really see her anymore. And then a string of murders starts to pop up. Harry Dresden and Murphy, they're kind of like repairing their friendship from the last book, because he just kind of held out information on her and stuff. Yeah, she's not particularly thrilled about him. And then, you know, they kind of repair their relationship, and he goes and kind of does it again. Which, listen, you know, I'm going to, after seeing what I have seen in this book, knowing what I know now, this whole Dresden being a misogynist thing, that is incorrect. Maybe a little bit of a chauvinist, but he does not hate women. So y'all need to get your facts straight. He does not hate women. That's the definition of misogyny. He does not hate them. He rather enjoys them a lot. And while we're on the subject, listen, we're inside the mind of a guy in like the 90s, 2000s, a wizard. Let's crawl inside your mind and see how much of a saint you are, if you really want to go there. There are points in time in this book where I'm just like, Harry, what are you doing? And he's a flawed guy. Really, what kind of draws me to books of weird, you know, like odd characters and flawed characters, because it's interesting. I wouldn't want to read the mind of a saint all day. I'd get bored out of my mind, dude. He's conflicted in a lot of things. You know, he wants to do good, but he also knows, like, I don't know, if he was to just like let somebody else take the reins of things, then what happens in the cop scene and at the police station, that happens in this. Precisely what's going to happen if you meddle with the magical realm. And that scene was rough in a good way. Like it was a big scene. I was like, what's going to be the big scene in this book? And I'm thinking, so what ends up happening is he ends up following a trail, and he ends up meeting some people that are connected to these murders, and the cops find out. So Harry's kind of on the run now. He gets in trouble. He doesn't tell Murphy anything. Somebody ends up dying, and Harry's at the scene of the crime, and Harry knows who it is, and it kind of connects him to the scene, and Murphy gets mad and like starts beating him up and then handcuffs and tries to put him back in the police car. Well, a specific lady, when the cops have their back turned, breaks him out of the police car and they take off running, taking Dresden to a man named McFinn. And this McFinn guy, you find out that he is a werewolf, and they're trying to figure out whether or not he is connected to the murders and stuff. Well, a few other things happen. I know I'm being very vague, I'm so sorry, but if you want spoilers, we'll talk about spoilers at the end of it. And they find out that somebody gets picked up by Murphy's team at Specialist Investigations, and he's taken to jail. He's in custody, and he's sitting in the jail cell right now. Well, this person is a werewolf, and he's trapped inside the jail cell. Dresden and Susan, I think that's like his lady friend, she's the reporter, and I think she was from the first book, Susan. And this other lady, they try to like plan, it's almost kind of like a heist type of deal where they're trying to get to the jail and get a protective spell drawn up so that this dude won't change to a werewolf while he's in the middle of a police station. And it doesn't work out the way remotely anyone had hoped. That police station scene was one of the coolest, most horrifying things, and also one of the most baller things. It's so complicated. I'm really impressed that Jim Butcher was able to just like capture all of these like crazy moments and interesting moments and like make you care. Man, so good. I'm into it, dude. I really like it a lot. It's a fun read. Like I said, at the end of this, we'll give the spoiler and then we'll continue on reading our Empire of the Vampire. I'm not reading both of them in one go. I like to really just kind of, for now, I'm just going to read one at a time. Just because I feel like I owe it to the author to really give it my full attention. So, yeah, that's where we're at. We'll update when we're finished. A finished Full Moon, Book 2 of the Dresden Files from Jim Butcher. I don't know what happened yesterday. I just kind of started reading it after the police station scene, and I screamed through this book. I was hooked, man. And you know, it's not really surprising. I'm very easily entertained, but I really liked it. I liked Terry Dresden. I liked Murphy. I liked Tara. I liked the Alpha Gang. You know, there was a good handful of likable characters, and then there was a really good handful of not so great characters or morally gray characters. I liked it, and there's not really a whole lot that needs to be said about it. And I'll go over some spoilers here in just a minute. But essentially, you know, Harry Dresden is dealing with some. The theme of this book obviously is werewolves. And so a string of murders starts happening. Murphy gets a hold of Harry, and they're kind of working through their friendship, their professional friendship. You know, he just kind of follows the trail from there, and it gets out of hand. There's not any kind of it goes pretty quick. It's very straight to the point, and I really like it. However, your boy Jim can write, man. One of the quotes, this is towards the end of the book. I don't know. I was reading this, and there was just a lot of things that happened, and this hit me in such a profound way. And I'm not going to go all deep and stuff about it, but I love this line here. He said, "It isn't enough to stand up and fight darkness. You've got to stand apart from it too. You've got to be different from it." I just thought that was just a lovely string of words in the middle of just like this chaos and them preparing to take on some dudes. I don't know. I liked it. Let's move on to the spoiler section. If you don't want to listen to spoilers, then I will put a timestamp, or I'll do a jump ahead on the YouTube thing, so you can just skip ahead, and I will make sure to leave a few seconds after you skip ahead. Let's get into the spoilers. The very beginning, you know, Harry gets introduced. We're introduced to Kim Delaney. Kim Delaney is she's inquiring Harry about containment magic. You don't really find that out until later on in the book. He's trying to like convince her not to fooled with werewolf magic or anything of the sort. So we could just kind of follow along from there. And then Murphy and Harry kind of get together, and she brings him to a crime scene, tries to include him on something because she realizes it's messed up. And they come upon this brutal crime scene where this dude is absolutely mangled. There's paw prints, there's blood everywhere. Dude's been ripped open. It's rough. And it's one of Marconi's men. We go along from there, and he's just trying to figure out what's going on. He develops a report for Murphy that she's wanting the next day. It just kind of cascades from there. He's just hunting the trail for who's who. He ends up running into this street gang. It's like a biker street gang, and gets in trouble there. He gets to a point where he is on the run now, because you find out in the middle of the book roughly that Kim Delaney was trying to help this man named MacFinn. He had this project going on. I think it was kind of tied to, he was a billionaire. He wanted to buy a bunch of land like near the Rocky Mountains, just like a wildlife area where he and other people like him could be like safe while they were transformed into werewolves. And I think it was, I feel like it was kind of like a completely wholesome thing. Things kind of get out of hand, and somebody destroys his little ward. He didn't have these issues. I mean, he was transforming and stuff, the billionaire guy. He was becoming a werewolf at night, but he was able to lock himself in like a ward in his own home. Well, somebody, you find out that somebody went and broke his, I can't remember what the actual name of it, but it's like three ring circles and stuff on the ground where he'll go inside of it. When he transforms, he can't get out of it. Well, somebody broke that, and he's been running wild and killing people. Can't help it. He's a werewolf. Like, that's just kind of comes with the territory. And you kind of feel bad for this MacFinn dude, because like he doesn't want to kill all these people. So you run into some agents, some FBI agents. I think his name is Denton, and Agent Ben and Agent Harris. You run into these agents pretty early on in the book, and Murphy's kind of in trouble with her special investigations unit, and she's kind of, internal affairs is investigating her for how she was handling the case in the previous book, and so she's got eyes on her, and so Harry feels compelled to kind of help her. Obviously, he wants to help her. Well, werewolves are dangerous, and so he's kind of conflicted. He's like, I really want to help Murphy because I want to clear her name with the internal affairs, but I don't want her to die. He's just kind of wrestling with that. They find Kim Delaney's body. Murphy finds out that he was connected to her, like from the crime scene. You saw like this piece of paper that she had like in the beginning of the book. She realized that Harry was again holding out information on him, and so she tries to arrest him. And this Tara lady comes and breaks him out from the back of the police car. Well, this Tara lady, you're not really sure if she's good or bad. You're just kind of like, who is this mysterious lady? Why is she helping me? Is she legit? She's like naked for most of the time in the book, and Harry addresses it. At the end of the book, you find out that they have these, there's hexen wolves, and these hexen wolves can wear, they have like these, like a magic wolf pelt belt, and they can put that on and they can trigger a reaction, like a magical transformation where they turn into werewolves themselves. You find out that these agents do this. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. We follow the trail and we end up, this MacFinn dude gets caught by Murphy, and Murphy takes him to jail. Well, Harry finds out that he's in jail, and he's like, this is bad because you have a werewolf locked up in a public police station, and he is known to be dangerous. Like, you've seen the wreckage that this man has caused. Again, against his will, he can't help it. Werewolf loses all total control. And dude, this police station scene, I don't even want to spoil the police station. It is such a good scene. It's a long scene. It's a long chapter, long-ish for these books. And I was just like, my jaw was out the whole time. I was it was crazy, dude. It was so good. And so he ends up fighting this MacFinn dude in his werewolf form, because he was trying to break into the police station and put a warded spell around him so he could keep him from transforming in the police station and killing the whole daggum police unit. Well, he didn't make it in time. Ooh-wee. It was rough. That was the most tense part of the whole book. That and the ending. Dude, these books, obviously there's tons of these books out, and you're just like, how? You're in the middle of you reading it. You're just like, how is he going to survive this? I have no clue. They do such a good job, though. Jim does a wonderful job. Police station scene. After that's over with, Harry, he blasts him out the window with his Wago spell, with his blasting rod, and launches him across the street into an abandoned building, and then he's gone. So Harry is just absolutely scratched, beat the hell up. Just Harry gets He gets pummeled in this book pretty early and pretty often. I feel bad for him. So he's looking for McFinn again and trying to stop him. You start to piece together that these agents are werewolves because the street gang that I mentioned before are after Harry because he challenged their leader. And they're part of this weird wolf pack mentality where if you challenge the leader has to pursue that challenge or, somebody else will take over his spot. So this dude's supposedly been hunting Harry Dresden down the whole book and following him. Well, they finally get a hold of him and take him back to the street gang, biker gang garage. And they kind of interrogate him a little bit and beat him up some. And then Marconi and Hendrix show up, which is his bodyguard. He's trying to get Harry to sign over. It's like, listen, man, I need you to sign this contract so we can get you free. I would like to hire you. I'd like to employ. He's been trying to employ Harry, I think, since the beginning of the first book. But he keeps on trying to get Harry to be on his side. And Harry's like, no, you're a criminal, bro. I ain't doing it. A big old fight breaks loose. And lots of wolves and people get redded. Another pretty intense scene. And then the Tara lady, who's also a werewolf, she comes to Harry's rescue and kind of digs him out, I think, from the side wall, and he escapes the garage. Dude, it's a fight. And that's where Harry discovers that these agents are becoming wolves because they have these Hexen wolf belts. And so, fast forward on towards the end of the book, Harry tries to devise a plan where he threatens the detective. He captures one of them and takes his belt from him, and he threatens this detective. He says, meet me at Marconi's tonight, I'll be there, and bring you boys, pretty much, and this crazy showdown happens at the end. And it's just one of the coolest things. It's one thing I definitely don't want to spoil. At the very end, let's just say Harry has the belt, the wolf pelt belt from earlier. In that fight scene, this goes back to where the closest I think he goes to a misogynist is where he uses this wolf pelt belt and becomes the wolf. And you get a glimpse into his mind as a wolf and the bloodlust, the bloodthirst, the anger in his wolf form. He touches on this like a good bit in the book when you find out about the Hexen wolf belt. It's like a drug, man. It's like heroin. It's like once you do it, it's just, you feel so powerful, you feel so great. And he is pleading, there's a part in the book where Harry is pleading with all three of them. It's like, you guys have no idea what you're messing with. You are junkies. Essentially, you guys are hooked on the power and you can't step away from it. You have to stop. Obviously they refuse, and obviously they pay for it. Such a cool book, dude. Such a cool story. I loved it. I think we're seeing a new side to him where he's realizing that the age of coming to a woman's rescue, I guess, is kind of slowly dying, and people don't want you to hold doors for them and pay for their meals. And I'm from the South. We do all the stuff that everybody thinks Harry Dresden shouldn't do. Hold doors, pay for meals. Yes, ma'am. No, sir. All that good stuff. It's interesting to watch Harry kind of grow and trust Murphy more and just kind of let go of some of that I know better type of attitude. But still, I understand why he feels that way. We're dealing with, in this world, if you take it seriously, you're dealing with magical elements that nobody on the planet that is human, regularly human, has any clue how to deal with anything from the magic realm. So you've got Harry who wants to help, but he's flawed. And dude, I tell you, dude, there were plenty of moments in this book where I was just like bust a gut laughing just because Harry, I just love his attitude, man. He's so honest about everything. I don't know. I like him as a character. I like the books. I'm a fan, and supposedly they just get better and better and better after this. So I'm excited to see what happens next with Harry Dresden. And so my final review for Book 2, Full Moon of the Dresden Files, I'm giving this a 4-star rating. 4 stars. We have Empire of the Vampire. J. Kristoff.